Hello everyone, and welcome to the infamous and 8% Speedrun tutorial. I'm Sanju, and I will be your guide. First things first, the gameplay was recorded on a slim PS3. The main reason is one skip I will cover later in the tutorial, but it requires a specific setup, a slim PS3 and a disc of the game. In addition, in case you're wondering, the fastest language is Dutch, but in this case it doesn't really make a difference as it's only a 2-second time save over English. Timing wise, the run starts as soon as you gain control of Cole, and you want to do your first input after you hear "Way Rabbit You Can Hear Me." And then usually the next step is getting them into the menu and changing the camera controls to normal. And trust me, it makes a difference. Okay, so now that the run has started, in this first section all you really need to do is avoid the explosions. Now I would like to take a moment to mention that even though this is a tutorial, in this game it's very hard to explain what to do or how to do it, since except for some parts it's mostly RNG and feel. You will get better the more you do the missions. Some missions involve more RNG through fights, some involve tricky platforming through jumping, climbing, and that is not easy to show or explain. All you can do is follow what I do and try to come up with whatever feels better for you. Earlier I mentioned you should avoid the explosions. I kept this clip in the recording to show what happens when you don't. It's annoying to lose seconds in a simple section, and even more annoying when you know you'll have to rewatch the intro to reset a run. The game works through a checkpoint system, which means it will check if you have completed a section to either trigger the next section or a cutscene or whatever, which makes finding skips hard, but it doesn't mean the game doesn't have any skips. We'll touch more on that after the first level. Even though I mentioned the game has very few skips, we go to the first one right now. It's the bench skip, and it skips a very lengthy and boring mission where all you really do is follow Zeke, do some climbing, and do some fighting. Well, as Zeke is telling you, all you really need to do in this mission right now is just charge the batteries, and once you've done that, you can proceed to do the bench skip. Bench skip is fairly simple. All you really need to do is, after reactivating the batteries, press circle near the bench so Cole hides in front of it, and then just move to the left, and as soon as you get to the corner of the bench, press and hold circle, which should make Cole boost a little, and sometimes it's enough to look like a small jump, and you will be out of the roof. Even though the skip is simple, at first you might fail it a little bit, but that's normal. I went and got a different clip so you could see it again, but that's pretty much it. Once you're out of the roof, all you have to do is just run to the next mission. So I'll see you guys on the next mission. Now that the mission start has popped up, you have successfully skipped the mission. Since you're not on the route with Zeke, the game thinks you've already completed the mission, which means Zeke will call you right after this, and it will trigger the event for the next mission.
You take the stairs. I'm using the express elevator.
Listen, man. I'm almost to the bridge. Since everyone here hates your guts, we gotta get out of town. Pronto-like.
I'll meet you there. And Zeke, thanks for watching my back.
Sure, man. I ain't about to do anything that might piss you off. See ya.
Now it's time for the escape. In this mission, you'll start seeing why we play the game on easy. But first, after this cutscene, all you need to do is aim and shoot, so you trigger the karmic event. That way you get instantly teleported into the riot and you can start the mission.
One way or another.
For the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to be cutting out some of the cutscenes from the footage, so that we don't have to watch all of them. After that cutscene ends, all you have to do is come here. You want to get the good action, and then shoot. If you shoot earlier, sometimes what will happen is you will get evil karma, and then you will get good karma, which is a small glitch that can happen here. After that, you just want to kill the enemies and enter the bridge. Once you're in the bridge, the most important part is to avoid the turrets. The enemies, because we're playing on easy, will not really do a lot of damage to you, but they will do enough, so just be careful. Once we get to this spot, we want to open the door and immediately perform a death warp. This death warp is important for two reasons. Firstly, it warps us to the next checkpoint, and secondly, it stops the game from increasing the difficulty. The game has a system in which if you play the first mission very well, it will increase your difficulty, and we want to keep it on easy.
This area is under strict quarantine. Indiscriminate lethal force will be used against all unauthorized personnel. It's for the quarantine station. It's our ticket out of here.
This next section doesn't really have a lot to make it faster. All you have to do is just jump and do some platforming, which is a little bit tricky, but it's not that bad.
The liberty of cloning your phone's frequency. I've got a lock on your GPS locator, and I can hear every word you say.
That's super.
Once you get here, be very careful about these pipes. They are very dangerous and they will kill you instantly.
Cole, the water pressure has dropped in the main running under the bridge. What's going on down there?
Reapers were busting up some pipes.
Interesting. I'll see what I can find out. Don't forget who's holding your leash, Cole. You find John and the ray sphere, and I get you out of there. No questions asked. If you double-cross me or do something stupid, and I will throw you into a hole so deep that you won't even know which way is up. Got it?
By the way, every time you finish a mission, there's going to be a mission complete pop-up, so you want to mass circle so that it ends faster.
Yeah, nice work on that gate, Wrecking Ball.
For this next section, I hope you practice your bench skip because you're gonna have to do it again. In this case, we do it to be able to kill some enemies before our next mission so we get more good karma, and then get to the mission marker earlier. You will have to perform bench skip at least a few more times because healing people and killing enemies in between missions is actually very good to get good karma points. The healing ability is obtained after the next mission is over. You will understand why I say it like that when we get to the actual mission. For now, just try to focus on killing enemies and getting to the marker. Also, make sure you have all your power drained before entering the mission marker.
You need to take a nap and a bath. I got things to do.
I've already got a couple of leads for you. The coordinates have been uploaded into your phone. Give me a call when you're in position.
Once this call is done, you want to press start, press X twice to buy the first power for the lightning bolt, which will come in handy. And now you will notice that when you enter the mission, blood trail is completely over. We actually don't know why it happens, but not having any power apparently makes it skip. Then you death warp so you can respawn on top of the roof again and proceed to the next mission.
Call me when you get over there.
After Moya and Cole are done talking, all you have to do is climb the building and get to the first transmitter. Then just follow the route to get to the other transmitters.
Found it. Looks like a portable audio drive is attached to this satellite dish.
See if you can listen to it with your phone.
Sounds like a bunch of garbage.
It's an encrypted message, but I can't break it. Look around and see if you can find another one.
You hear that? Same thing as before.
I'm running the signals through a decryption program on this end. I've almost cracked it, but I need another sample. Look around for more of
So in this mission you're going to notice you can sometimes kill extra enemies to get good karma points without losing any time, and you want to do it in as many missions as possible.
That's the last one.
Give me a second. Alright, that should do it. I'm uploading a decrypting algorithm into your phone. It should let you listen to the messages.
I couldn't stop Kessler from detonating the ray sphere. Damn thing took out 5 or 6 square blocks, killed God knows how many. Found the ray sphere in the blast crater next to some kid. Don't know if he was dead or not, enough time to check. I'm gonna try and hole up somewhere. If anyone is even listening to these things, I need immediate extraction. Please, you've got to get me out of here before Kessler finds me.
You understand any of that?
I don't believe it. That's John. He must have used dead drops to communicate with his handlers.
English?
It means there are probably more of those scattered around the city. You should try and find as many as you can. They might tell us where he took the ray sphere.
Find John in the ray sphere, and I'm out, right?
I know the deal, Cole.
Just making sure.
After Mysterious Signals ends, it can be more convenient than the next mission starts right there. It's Medical Emergency. It's the mission that introduces the secondary mission system. In this case, this secondary mission will unlock a clinic. Clinics act as respawn points. Whenever you die, you will respawn at the closest clinic if you're close to any of them. Unlocking this one actually comes at a disadvantage, since after some missions we would like to respawn at 6 rooftop, but clinics take priority over other respawn points if you're within range. After the mission is over, I'm gonna make my way to the next mission, High Ground. You're gonna see me do something stupid in this recording since I was mashing some buttons and I accidentally attacked a pedestrian. Since we skipped Blood Trail, we never saw that we got new powers. But so in this case, is going to be the first sewer level. It's gonna be the grenade. The first sewer mission is gonna be our new best friend. But as you saw earlier, we skipped it entirely. In this mission, we're going to unlock the grenade, which is gonna be our new best friend throughout the whole game. So the start of High Ground is very simple. All you have to do is charge the tower, which for some reason drains all of Cold's energy. And after that happens, the next objective is to drain a power source. After that, you have to wait for Moya to be done so you can drain the generator. So all you can really do is just wait or kill enemies. And I choose to kill enemies to get more experience points and more karma points. The karma points are very important so you can get the champion rank and the hero ranks earlier in the run. The champion rank, you should be getting it by the next mission or the mission after that. And even though we will not make use of what the champion rank unlocks this early, we want to make our way to hero rank as early as possible. The main reason is to be able to buy grenade upgrades level 2 and level 3. Now back to the mission. Even though it's called High Ground, we're really just going to follow the path under the train tracks to avoid all the enemies on the roofs and make our way to the sewers in a very, very safe way. Now that we got to the sewers, we're going to make our way to grab the next power. These sewer missions are basically all platforming with some bits of fighting in between. So in many cases, you're going to be able to use the water or the walls. In this case, there's a lot of platforming to do because there are many platforms and Cold grabs everything in this game. You have to be very careful about that. So just traverse the fastest way you can. In this case, I choose to use all the platforms. So in this section, there are some enemies far away that you want to kill. You want to throw grenades, but you want to be very careful getting close to them because there are some gas canisters. So if you can just throw the grenades and hit the canisters and then hit the enemies as well with that, that would be perfect. The only thing to look out for in here is your health. You want to be at full health when you're past this section. In this case, I have to drain energy from the wall. That's very normal. So this next path can be a little bit tricky for some people, but it's actually very simple. All you really have to do is be at full health, and then once you get to this platform, just jump, turn the camera a little bit, and then do 2 more jumps in the water. And the next jump should get you to the wall. The biggest problem this strat presents is Skull will try to grab anything he's close to, which is why you saw me jump a bit far away and then turn the camera and go forward. After High Ground, we want to make our way to Mind Games. Mind Games is a mission that can be very tricky at first, and it's because there's a lot of RNG involved with the fights in this game, as you're gonna see throughout the whole run. Before the mission starts, you want to line yourself up with the marker and then enter the mission marker, jump off the building and press square to do a thunder drop. That way, when the cutscene ends, Cole will be on the ground. Now at the start of this mission, you want to heal as many people as you can before turning the valve, since that just means free karma points.
Alright, get over there. We need to find a way to stop this.
Come on, breathe. Breathe. What are you doing here?
Moya wanted me to say what's going on with the fountain.
Who's Moya?
Doesn't matter. Look, Trish, I know what that guy said about me.
My sister is dead because of you.
I swear I didn't know what was in that package.
I don't want to hear it. You want to help? Fine. You can start by closing that valve over there. It's jammed, and I can't turn it. That's how the black tar is getting into the fountain. Oh, it's all over your eyes. I need to get a solvent out of my car. Follow me.
I've been watching you, Cole. Waiting for this moment. Anticipating it.
Who's doing this?
She hates you. You. The power pains her. She doesn't love you. I can make you forget about her. Everything we've shared. Like a whisper. No more pain.
After that section, we're gonna make our way to the park and find the first bulb. There will be 2 enemies to kill before you can actually turn the bulb. Even though the game lets you turn the bulb, it doesn't mean you're gonna be able to because the enemies will shoot at any time.
Off and see what happens.
After that, some enemies will spawn. You want to kill them as you make your way to the second valve. The second valve comes with a karmic choice, and of course you want to press triangle as soon as possible to turn the valve yourself and get more karma points.
Why do you love her? She's beneath you. You deserve better.
Oh, just shut up. If I turn that valve, I'll take another blast of crud to the face. Probably screw me up, send me on another mind trip. Or maybe I force this guy to do it for me.
You're all alone, you know. No one cares about you. Not the girl. You won't be able to. Only I. It's only our time.
God's sake, get out!
Now that the valves are off, you need to figure out how those...
When you get to the tunnel, you want to make your way to the end as fast as possible. For this first section, you want to try to kill as many enemies as you can by shooting the cars, and then kill the remaining enemies and run to the end.
Bastard will see what he lost.
This next section is pure luck. All you have to do is dodge the bullets from the ghost enemies and make it to the end without dying. That's always easier said than done. As you can see in this video, I almost died, but just bear in mind sometimes they will deal less damage, sometimes they will actually kill you. It's actually a very hard section. After you kill the enemies, jump over the truck, shoot it until it explodes, and run to the next mission.
There's a truck attached to the pipe down here.
That's probably the source of the plague. Destroy it.
What the hell is that stuff?
Some kind of mind control agent. It appears to be organic, but I don't know how they're producing it.
Yeah, well, sure did a number on me. I'm heading back to Zeke's. My head is killing me.
Now that we're back at the roof, we can't jump, so we have to do bench skip again to be able to get out of it and maybe save some people. This is a scripted event and it will actually teleport you back to the roof even if you are outside, so just have that in mind.
I flagged the position of the next substation in your GPS goal.
Shouldn't I be hunting for John and the Ray Sphere?
You need to look at the big picture. Every time you restore electricity to a section of the city, your powers escalate. I'd say that's a valuable use of your time. I'll be in touch once you get the substation back online.
Okay, so after you successfully enter the mission, it's good stuff. It's another sewer mission, and in this one we will unlock one of the best powers in the game, Induction Grind. Right after unlocking it, we want to immediately get into the menu and buy level 1 and level 2 twin upgrades, which will allow Cole to drain power faster, but also drain power and heal while using Induction Grind.
Hey,
Paying attention to that TV jacker? Used to think he was pretty righteous, but now he spends half his time trashing it. Makes me think you should pay him a little visit.
believe me, I'd love to. No idea where he's hiding, though.
Probably holed up in the old TV station over in the Story District. You find him. You give him a taste of the good stuff. He's got rare enough to run his mouth all the time.
As you can see in here, it is a very important upgrade and it helps a lot in many of the missions. While doing a sewer mission, you always want to try to traverse to the end as fast as possible and kill as many enemies as possible without losing any time, so these upgrades come in handy very well. That doesn't mean that the power is OP and will always save your ass, because if you don't kill the enemies, and sometimes it's very slow to kill them, they will try to shoot you down from really far away and they will actually get to you sometimes, so you have to be very careful with that and drain energy as much as you can.
Good work, Cole. When you're ready, I've got a couple of things I'd like you to look into. One of them might lead us to John.
Okay, so right after good stuff, we're right next to a mission that might be a bit tricky to do fast at first, the rescue. In this mission, it's very important to, again, kill as many enemies as possible, except in some parts. If the enemies are already focused on you, you want to kill them. Otherwise, if you see enemies attacking other NPCs, don't attack them so they don't focus on you too. Pretty much every section is kill enemies if necessary, find the box, recharge it, return to the train, and repeat. The game will not allow you to recharge the boxes super early, so be careful where you jump from, otherwise the train will stop too early and you will not be able to recharge the box.
Low voltage feeder box that's mounted under the tracks. Charge it until it's green across the board. That should get you moving again.
I'll go look for it.
As per usual, during this mission, killing enemies is actually a very good source of good karma points and experience points. So you want to do as much as you can, like killing these enemies for example, and then as soon as you can, just go find the second box.
There's another one.
So this next section is where you'll find enemies attacking other NPCs. If you attack them, there is a chance some of the enemies will actually focus on you, and the Reaper Conduit might actually teleport to the train and try to kill you, so you don't want to actually attract them.
You're almost there.
Okay, for the last section, what we try to do is throw grenades to kill enemies and clear the path of cars. You don't need to move any of the other cars on the tracks, just the initial pile. Every car has to be on the ground. The Reaper Conduit will likely follow you on top of the train, so you just look back and try to kill him as soon as you get back on the train.
You're almost to the station.
For this next section, you actually want to ride the train all the way to the next mission, Nemesis Revealed. Once you're approaching the mission marker, you want to position yourself on top of the train to do a running jump and a thunder drop, and hopefully land in the marker. Now this one can be a little bit tricky to do fast, but basically you want to do the good karma action all the time. It's necessary, but also faster. Once I climb onto the first roof, there's gonna be an enemy with a shotgun on the farther end that I always try to kill first. Then the rest usually don't do a lot of damage, but you wanna kill them if necessary.
Alright, I'll head up there and see what I can do. Damn it. Breathed in some of that crap. It's messing with my powers.
The effects will wear off eventually. Besides, if that stuff gets into the water, a lot of people will get sick. They're not as strong as you.
Yeah, well, I think I...
After the second barrel explodes, you want to throw a grenade at the ground. The death warp will put you in the next checkpoint and will skip the good karma pop-up. You can also just throw the grenade and then blast the barrel, but it's a bit tricky. After this death warp, I recommend clearing out any enemy on the roofs. Since the enemies in this game don't stop focusing on you at all, if you leave one alive, they might kill you from afar.
Oh, it's filling my throat.
This is a good example of what could happen if you leave enemies alive. As you can see, there are 2 enemies on the roof and there's 1 RPG guy, and I want to kill the RPG guy first because he will kill me if I don't, and if I had left some enemies on other roofs, they would kill me instantly. Once the mission ends, you want to jump on the train tracks and travel to the next mission. Depending on the cycle, you might actually be able to catch the train, which is actually faster, but usually in fast runs, you won't be able to catch it. If by any chance you are in front of the train though, you might want to move to the other tracks since the train will most likely push you off the tracks.
Been looking at
So after healing some pedestrians and killing some more enemies and getting more karma points, we can finally go to the next mission, No Protection. Just follow the train tracks to the end and then go to the mission marker.
Hey, brother, you know what scares the hell out of me? The thought of the government getting their hands on that race sphere.
Didn't we already have this conversation?
I know, you got caught pissing in the wind. But think about this for a second. Now, if that thing dishes out superpowers, what's to stop old Uncle Sam from juicing up the entire military or the cops? We'd have no defense against that.
Didn't know we needed any.
Shit, man, open your eyes. Take a look around. You see any Red Cross? Any National Guard? I sure as hell don't. They lied about the whole thing on the bridge. They'll do whatever it takes to stay in power. But you need to wake up, buddy, before it's too late.
So No Protection gives us a new power, Precision Shot. This one is useful in certain cases only, to kill enemies that are very far away. It uses a lot of power and is very slow, so it's not recommended to use everywhere.
So you think she knows where John is?
There's no way of knowing. But even if she doesn't, you have to take her out. It's the only way we'll be able to get a handle on the plague. I'll let you know when I've locked down her location.
So even though the game expects us to use Precision Shot to shoot these generators and activate moving platforms, we're actually only going to use it for this moving platform, and we're probably not going to use it again in the run. Shooting the moving platforms is nice and all, but we can also just use the walls.
Said you look different. Then you've got some kind of aura of goodness surrounding you.
You know I don't care about that kind of stuff.
I know. But listen, keep it up. The chick's digging, and I can use that to my advantage. I'll catch you later.
So there is a death warp strat that I failed in this video, and I did this to showcase exactly where you need to land to grab the checkpoint, since just touching the platform doesn't activate it. The death warp is not a random strat, and it skips having to use Precision Shot to activate the moving platforms in the next section. As you can see, the moving platforms just activated by themselves, and I can just throw some grenades to kill some enemies and wait for it to move. And now, even though I said that we wouldn't use Precision Shot for the missions, we will actually use it at the end of this mission to reach the generator, since it's very far away and getting close to it is actually slower.
you want me to do it?
You're the only person I know with superpowers. Besides, you owe me, all of us, for what you did. I'll be in touch when the crate is safe.
Okay, so right before this mission starts, we buy grenade level 1 and level 2, which will increase our damage greatly, and it's very important for this mission in particular as well. Okay, so before you actually see me do the mission, I'm gonna try to explain it because it goes by really fast and there are many enemies. So first, there are 2 enemies you want to kill. Even if you don't kill those 2 enemies, 5 more will appear and you have to throw grenades as fast as you can to kill them. The next group of enemies will come with kamikaze enemies. You don't want to let them get any close, so throw grenades as far as you can and use alpha bolt. Once you clear this wave, an enemy will appear on the roof with a machine gun. After you kill him, 3 more enemies will spawn behind a wall, so you want to throw a grenade at a corner as you will see in the video. Then on the opposite side, 2 more enemies will appear and they have RPGs, so you want to kill them as fast as possible with grenades. After killing those enemies, you want to do a death warp to skip a little dialogue. And then, as you will see in the video, you want to throw grenades and the next wave will die instantly. So in the next section, 2 trucks with turrets will spawn initially. You want to kill the guys on the turrets and then 3 enemies will appear in a tunnel. You kill them and then 1 more truck appears and you kill the guy on the turret and then 1 more guy will appear in the same tunnel. And then the mission ends. Now I'll let you watch the video so you can see exactly what I did.
Bring it on. Need any help moving that stuff?
We got it. And Cole, thanks for your help.
This mean we're talking again?
We'll see.
Okay, so right after this mission comes Sasha Skip, or Dinner with Sasha if you are not playing on the correct version, which will also be covered after I cover the skip. So about the version, as I mentioned at the start of the tutorial, you need a slim PS3 with an HDD, preferably the original hard drive, and the disc of the game. What can happen if you don't have that set up? The skip basically doesn't work and the game crashes all the time. If you have any other question, join the community Discord and we'll be happy to answer them.
Out of the Jefferson Tunnel. Head to the location marked on your GPS, and I'll fill you in when you get there.
Now we move to the actual skip. Basically, you want to trigger the enemies inside the compound without going too far. After opening the door, just walk a little bit forward until like the container, and then just jump on it, jump on the car, and jump on the wall and get out. For the clip that I'm about to do, I recommend messing around with it, but it's actually very easy to do. What I do is I do a running jump, and as soon as I land, I press X again, and usually the second jump helps me clip. You can also just jump against the wall, and as soon as you land, you jump and you shoot clip. Practicing it is key though, as the faster you do it, the more chances you'll have to actually get the skip. Even though the skip is consistent in the setup I mentioned, the game sometimes crashes or the skip doesn't work if you take too much time to get into the tunnel. Also, something to keep in mind, even though not completely necessary, you will know that you 100% got the setup right if the fight music stops when you enter the mind control tower for the second time. Entering the tower twice is actually necessary, otherwise the skip won't work.
You promised me. Always and forever, you said. Oh, God.
So now that we have jumped inside the tower for the second time, we can go to the end of the mission and trigger the skip. Basically, you want to just walk to the end, as I do in the video, and then abandon the mission, enter the mission marker again, and then go save the game. As you saw, when you enter the mission marker, it disappears, and then when you save, it will actually say that you're in stranded. So you want to just quit the game. Sometimes after you quit out, your console might actually hardlock. Just let it reset and you will be fine. For me, the console hardlocked, so I had to wait for it to restart. When you enter the game again, you will notice that you're actually in a different island, which means you successfully skipped dinner with Sasha. Now, for those of you that actually are gonna do the mission dinner with Sasha, this is how you do it. So this section is actually kinda tricky, which is why we get out of it and we actually skip the whole thing.
Compound across the street and look for a way to open the gate.
Rock and roll.
Basically what you wanna do is a little bit of climbing. It is a bit tricky though, so just bear in mind you're gonna have to practice it a little bit. This section can be a little bit tricky. Once you're at the top, you want to jump to the left and maybe jump over the barbed wire. If you can't, just use the pillar as I do in the video. So as you can see, this section is actually very tricky. After pulling the lever, you want to actually do a death warp so it despawns the enemies and you appear on the next checkpoint. This next section is basically all RNG. You don't really want to kill a lot of enemies because it's very slow, but you want to kill some so that you don't die. Once you get to this section, you're gonna have to do a death warp right after this cutscene. So most of the time the game will crash if you don't do the death warp, so you actually want to do it 100% of the time just in case.
Impossible. You lied.
My pleasure.
You think I don't see her? The way you're parading her around like a common Jezebel? I see everything now, Kessler. Darling, what took you? Was there traffic? I told you not to take the bridge. It's always backed up at night. Get dressed. We have dinner plans tonight. Of course I told you. Silly man.
Kidding me. Damn it.
So the fight is fairly simple, just follow what I do in the video and you'll be fine.
Keep talking.
Basically what you want to do is just wait for her to appear, throw grenades, and then just take her down.
Now that she's down, it's time to get up close and personal. Hold still. Damn it.
The weekend in Maine. Stayed in bed the entire time. And oh, how you whispered to me. Promises you made.
Shut the hell up.
Why, Kessler? Why do you love her? I'll kill her. I swear it. I'll wear her skin like a robe.
Crazy bitch. Hell.
You don't know, do you? Of course not. But you'll find out soon enough. And oh, how you'll weep.
Why don't you just die?
You'll never control it, Cole. Look at me. Look at what
And with that, we're done with dinner with Sasha. After the mission, you want to do a death warp to appear on the bench and then go to Stranded.